Welcome everyone as our school community is joining the meeting this evening. We'll give everyone a chance. So we'll start in just a few minutes. We'll go ahead and let people take some time to log on. Good evening, everyone. Again, we have quite a few people joining the meeting, so we will get started in just a few minutes. Look like our numbers are still growing a little bit, so we'll give it about 30 more seconds and we'll get started. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Just want to remind everyone that this session is being recorded. And I want to welcome you to our 2021-2022 academic school year. I am Mrs. Robinson, your school principal, and I am excited to be here this evening. We have lots of information to discuss. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And welcome all of you. So as we're going through the presentation this evening, we do have a Q&A section where you can type some questions in and we will either answer them through the Q&A chat or we'll have someone, Mrs. Van Buren will read the question aloud if it is pertains to the public. All right, so for our parent orientation agenda, we want to welcome our wonderful Wilder staff. We'll start with that. We'll talk about some goals and our reopening plans as we are moving to in-person instruction, the health and safety protocols following the California Public Health Department guidelines, the social and emotional support we'll provide this school year. I'll talk about the difference between in-person and independent study programs, the attendance and communication guidelines, the Wilder's uniforms and supplies, our meal program, student materials and technology, and we will review some important dates for the school year. All right, so we will go ahead and start with staff introductions. I hope everyone is able to see their gallery view on their screen so we can see all of the wonderful faces. So we will start with the office team, and we have Miss Donna, Miss Lucy, and Miss Curtis this evening. You guys want to wave? Hey. And then also we have our assessment and systems coordinator, Ms. Tran. Good evening. And then we also have our student services coordinator, Ms. Ryan Mayo. And then we'll also start with our kindergarten team with Ms. Reardon, Ms. Howard, and Ms. Estella and Ms. Kimball. You guys want to do a wave and a shout out? And
hi, kindergarten.
There we go.
We can't wait to see you on Monday.
Wonderful.
Welcome. Welcome.
And then thank you, Ms. Estella. Our first grade team, Ms. Barroso, Ms. Jones, and Ms. Gutierrez are our first grade teachers. And we also have our instructional aide, Ms. Guevara, and Ms. Vergara will be joining first grade again this year. Shout out to our first grade team.
Welcome. Can't wait to see you on Monday.
Wonderful. And then we have our second grade team. Our teachers are Mr. Miller, Ms. Fenton, Ms. Prohaska, and our instructional aide, Ms. Malika McGlynn, and also Ms. Gabriel.
Woohoo! Welcome, second graders.
The best team on campus.
For our third grade team, we have Ms. Clemens, Mr. Kezar, and Ms. Houston, and then our intervention specialist, Ms. Warrenstyle, and instructional aide, Mr. Campos.
Welcome, third grade. Third grade is the best grade.
That's right. Third grade's the best grade. We are so excited to see you guys.
Good evening, third grade. See you Monday.
Thank you. And our fourth grade team, Ms. Hawthorne, Ms. Joseph, Ms. Gorman, our teachers, and our instructional aide, Ms. Alana Williams, and our intervention specialist, Ms. Roxanne Williams.
Hello there. Welcome.
Woohoo, fabulous fourth. Can't wait to meet you.
All right, and now for our fifth grade team, we have Mr. Delphos, who's new to the fifth grade team, Mrs. Van Buren, and Ms. Holden, along with our instructional specialist, Mr. Stringer, and our instructional aide, Ms. Lauren.
Hi, fifth graders. Last year for elementary. Woo woo.
Oh yeah, here we go.
All right, and for our sixth grade team, Mr. Carrillo, Mr. Pugh, Mr. Williams, Ms. Daniel.
I want to welcome all the former fifth graders to sixth grade and middle school.
And our seventh and eighth grade team, Mr. Campanelli, Ms. Savage, Ms. Lee, Ms. Paget, Mr. Schultz, Ms. Cruz, Mr. Cisneros, Mr. Cervantes. I hope I didn't leave anyone out. For our middle school seventh and eighth grade team.
We're so excited to see you on Monday.
Can't wait to see you. Can't wait.
Everybody, see you soon.
Looking forward to seeing you guys.
Me too.
So excited.
Yay.
Yay. And to our counseling team, Miss Gibson, Miss Red, and Miss Cedillo. Give a shout out.
Hello, welcome.
You guys.
Our athletic director, Mr. Willis.
Welcome back to all my returning students and welcome to all my new students and parents.
Thank you. Campus supervisors, Miss Crystal, Mr. V, Miss Kelly, Miss Rhonda, Mr. Sullivan, and new to the team, Miss McGlynn.
Can't wait to see you on Monday.
Welcome back, everyone. Can't wait to see you.
Go to bed early Sunday night.
And our security team, Mr. Carlos, where are you? All right. And to, oh, there you go. And our facilities, Mr. Gaston and Mr. Nathan, who will keep our property safe and clean. And I hope I got everyone. I think that's everyone. And to Miss Maxine, our school mom. I think she's on here tonight. There you are. And to our CEO, Miss Ramona Wilder.
Welcome all of our new and returning students. We're looking forward to an amazing school year.
All right, thank you. To our staff, you can go ahead and mute your microphones. That would be great. And I will share my screen again. All right. So the goals for this school year, all right, hold on one second. All right, there we go. The goals for this school year. First and foremost, safety is our #1 priority. So we definitely have taken measures to ensure the physical and mental health, safety and well-being of all of our staff and students. And we'll talk more about that this evening. Providing equity and access to a rigorous research-based college preparatory curriculum supported by our teaching faculty, and providing opportunities for active stakeholder engagement in developing plans for Wilders. So we definitely want to gain more feedback from our parents and our staff, and we'll have a lot more advisory meetings this year just to talk about the goals for the school year and how we want to move forward. Our theme for this school year is Stronger Together, Champions Forever. All right, now we'll talk about our reopening plans. So as we return to in-person instruction, we will continue to provide the instructional program that we had before the pandemic. And we've also enhanced our program as well, just by adding some more curriculum to provide instructional support for students as we provide opportunities for accelerated learning. We want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. So the in-person student schedule, our regular day for kindergarten is 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3rd through 5th grade, 8 to 3:15, and 6th through 8th grade is 8 to 3:30. And then our minimum days we still have on Wednesdays. The kindergarten through 2nd grade is 8 to 1, 3rd through 5th grade is 8 to 1:15, and 6th through 8th grade is 8 to 1:30. Throughout the day, we've created schedules with modified breaks and lunches as we normally have before, but just keeping the social distancing in mind and, trying to squeeze everything into the instructional day. So I think we've done a pretty good job at working that out, and we'll continue to make modifications as needed. So we're also providing opportunities for accelerated learning. We've hired some additional instructional support staff, intervention specialists. Our teachers are still going to provide the awesome rigorous program that they have always done. And then we're also going to look into providing opportunities for after-school tutoring as well as we get into the school year. Our middle school schedule will be on a block schedule, so they'll have periods 1, 3, and 5 on Monday and Thursday. They'll have 2, 4, and 6 on Tuesday and Friday, and Wednesday will be an opportunity for them to be in a self-contained classroom, just to mitigate some of the transitions in the hallways, and to provide some extra support on that day. The first days of school, you can definitely expect traffic, as we've seen with some of the other schools, as parents are excited about dropping their children off at school, excited about picking them up, wanting to know what happened. I mean, it's been almost 2 years since we've been in class or in the building. So we definitely want to exercise some patience as we work through our schedules and try to find the best and most effective way to get our children in the building and out of the building safely. We will not have before school care this year. Before, we were offering breakfast at 7 a.m., but we will not have that this year, just, to mitigate some of the interaction with our students. And then we will implement the after-school program. Teach to Reach will be on campus from the end of the day till 6 p.m. And I will email the parents the Teach to Reach flyer. Previous students do have priority, as there will be a cap because we also have to consider limited space. And Ms. Gibson will provide more information regarding that. Once you receive invitations on your class dojo from your classroom teacher, we'll be able to post more information there as well, but we'll get the information out to you as soon as possible. The after-school program will not be available on the first day of school, so keep that in mind when you're making arrangements for pickup. The facility cleaning and sanitation, we have increased that as well, just to make sure that we are constantly cleaning those high-touch areas in the building, making sure that our tables and chairs are wiped down, stairwells. So we're taking lots of precaution to make sure that we maintain a clean environment. Currently, we are not offering athletics. We would like to, develop our program as we're returning to in-person learning, and just want to make sure that we are offering the best option for our students. So I will not say that we won't have athletics this year. We do anticipate having athletics, just not at this time at the beginning of the school year. That includes extracurricular activities, morning assemblies. We will not be standing around in the morning, for social distancing purposes. But as we start to implement some of those interacting activities, we will make you aware of that. So most of the fun activities will be in the classroom with the teacher or with the intervention specialist or the instructional support. All right, health and safety protocols. Masks and shields, if needed, are mandatory for all staff and students. That is a non-negotiable unless there is a situation that we can discuss individually. We do have on-site COVID testing every Monday or at the beginning of the week. There are screening protocols. So when students are arriving at school, they're getting out of the campus, having their temperature checked. In the event you miss a Monday or beginning of the school week when there's COVID testing, there is a place that you can go through, a Nobility Health location that you can go to get your COVID testing. So we want to make sure that we're here on time Monday mornings. Each floor in the building will have their own section to have their COVID testing. In the spring and the summer, we had COVID testing in the gym, and we escorted students to their classrooms. That will be kind of difficult to have 600 kids in the gym at one time. So we have protocols in place where they'll be escorted to the classrooms. In the classrooms, we have plexiglass shields, and they'll continue to wear their mask, and each floor will have the nurses to do the COVID test. And this is also for kindergarten as well. For our staff must be vaccinated, and we are following through with making sure that we, ensure the safety of our staff as well as they're interacting with your students in person. Currently, we will not have visitors in the building. We have been operating through the side gate on Plymouth. So if there are some things that you need to drop off or someone you need to see, it's very important that you make an appointment so that we'll know that you're coming. Currently, the lobby area is not operational as we want to mitigate the number of visitors in the building. We have, again, increased cleaning and sanitation of high-touch areas and taking deep cleaning very seriously in our building as well. And we are social distancing aligned with the California Public Health Department guidelines. So we are offering in-person instruction, to our maximum. And in the classroom, and I'll show you a picture of that later, we have plexiglass shields on the tables. And again, everyone will be wearing their mask. And this is sort of what it looked like. Well, it is what it looked like when we were here for the spring and the summer. And so as you can see, there are students with masks on, teachers have their mask on, students are at their desk working with the plexiglass shields on the desk. And as you can see, they're tall enough to where, they're not receiving any contact from anyone. And this is just a picture of our hallway, so you can kind of see the cleanliness that we've done. And these are the COVID testing technicians. All right, all schools are required by the California state law to have an up-to-date copy of each student's immunization record on file. I know during the pandemic and remote distance learning, some parents weren't adhering to this rule. So it's very important that you get your child's immunizations up to date. I'm sure the office will be calling to make sure that you have them up to date. So keep that in mind as you're returning to in-person learning. If you haven't done that, make sure you do so. If a student is required to receive medication during the day, we must have the information on file. School personnel may not administer medication without an authorization to administer medication, and you should have received that in your parent portal. And then always keep your emergency contacts up to date as well. All right, social and emotional support. So the mental health and social well-being of our staff and students are very important. This year, we've implemented a Wilders Wellness Center for our counselors, and they'll be able to have small group and individual counseling sessions for students in that particular room. Again, it's set up where, they can kind of decompress, or if they need to have a group session or a conversation with one of the counselors, they can do so in that space. The counselors will also be going to the classrooms as well to offer strategies, through a child's lens, of course, so they understand from their perspective how to deal with some of the things that they're going through. We're also focused on positive interventions and reinforcements. So like I said, definitely offering some of the strategies for them to find self-improvement internally. We have done some professional development and training with our staff this week, and we'll continue to do so during the school year. And all special education 504 counseling services will resume the same way we did prior to the pandemic. But parent meetings will continue to be held virtually. So we'll either do virtual meetings, especially if it's a group of us, or we may do just, a simple phone call. All right, so this is probably a topic you're pretty interested in hearing about. In-person and independent study programs. So in-person learning, teachers will deliver instruction in the classroom with students in person. So the students will be here as they were before, engaged in grade level content with differentiated support, which means we have our instructional support staff, we have our intervention specialists who can assist students who need extra support in certain areas. And that goes back to just offering opportunities for accelerated learning during the day and after school so that we can identify some of the targeted standards that they need to improve upon. So we'll definitely be tracking those as well. And then we have stable groups in elementary. As you know, they're self-contained in one classroom. The middle school students will rotate in cohorts. So they'll be with the same group with the 3 teachers for the day. And then they'll transition together when they need to go to lunch and recess. Our integrated English language development program is embedded into the day, into each subject, using state-approved strategies and materials. And like I said before, small group and individual counseling sessions are also embedded into the instructional day. All right, so independent study is very different than distance learning or remote learning. So recently, and I sent out quite a few emails recently and communicated with quite a few parents about the difference between independent study and remote learning. So as we knew distance learning, we were on a daily schedule. You were able to interact with your teacher, 3 or 4 times a day. There were office hours where you can get extra support. So Assembly Bill 130 or AB 130 replaces distant learning. So schools are not able to offer distance learning or remote learning as it has expired as of June 30th. So AB 130 authorizes independent study pupils whose health would be at risk by in-person instruction as determined by the parent or guardian. Enrollment. Go ahead and mute yourself. Enrollment is voluntary. So we have been making phone calls to our parents who have chosen remote study. I sent out a survey with a little more information about the difference between remote and independent study, and quite a few have decided that independent study is, not the program that they would like to choose right now. The expectations for our curriculum remain the same. Again, the difference between remote is you had access to your teacher throughout the day. With independent study, you will not have the same access to the teacher throughout the day. So you'll check in daily for live interaction for 30 minutes to an hour to make sure that you have received your independent assignments for the day. We'll take attendance as well. And quite a few parents, decided that if they weren't going to be able to receive the support, then they would, prefer to have in-person learning. So that is something that, some of you will probably need to consider. Asynchronous instruction and resources will be provided through virtual platforms, Google Classroom, Seesaw, and supervised by the caregiver. So whoever your child is with during the day, they will help them with their asynchronous assignments, and they'll turn them in on Google Classroom. Students must meet academic performance levels to remain on the independent study program. So as I stated before, we'll continue to monitor their progress. If we see that, there are quite a bit of absences or there are quite a bit of missing assignments, we will have to address those issues. As part of the independent study program, we will be making phone calls to make sure that this is, a program that you are truly geared up for. So in the independent study program, our English learners will have access to the integrated curriculum as well, and provided the asynchronous instruction. Parent notification regarding in-person and independent study has been sent via email and survey. Written and signed learning agreements must be on file to remain in the program. So as I stated, we are scheduling conferences over the next few days. Some may fall into next week with each parent to review and sign the agreement so that they understand that distance learning is, as we experienced last year, is no longer an option. The independent study program is the alternative to in-person instruction. Special education. All special education students, the services as stated on your IEP will resume. Services will be provided in the least restrictive environment. For families who are requesting the independent study program, will need to have another IEP meeting to discuss whether this program is appropriate for your student or not. And that will be determined by the IEP team. The special education assessments will take place in person on campus. And once the team has brought the data together, then we will have a virtual meeting to discuss the outcome. Attendance and communication. Regular and punctual attendance are important, and it is a requirement by the state of California. Each day begins at 8 a.m. and students can arrive as early as 7:30 a.m. So when they arrive, they'll be screened on the sidewalk outside before they get out of the car, and someone will be there to take their temperature. Someone will be there to escort them inside the gate. And as they're approaching or coming into the building, there'll always be someone escorting them where they need to be. So when you're dropping them off in the morning, just be mindful of that. And we'll have as many people out there as possible so that we can get the flow of traffic moving. For attendance, students are excused if they're quarantined, if they're sick, if there's a funeral, or if there's a medical appointment or a dental appointment. Those are excused absences, and you will need to let your teacher know as well as the front office. Additionally, be sure to update your information in the parent portal. That information has been sent to the email that we have on file. Previously, we provided paper copies for everyone, but we're trying to do everything digitally, cut down on the amount of paper and the germs that it brings. And so please check your emails and update your parent portal information. In the case of an emergency, you can contact the front office. There's our phone number, and we're still using the office email at office@wpacs.org. All right, uniforms. Historically, the school uniform has been a symbol of unity, so it supports our theme for this year, Stronger Together, Champions Forever. The school uniform is something to be proud of. It shows that our students are a part of our school community, and it motivates them to focus on the task at hand. So in essence, the uniform says, I am proud to be a Wilder student. Many of you, well, all of you should have received the the information in the mail, and it was also emailed about the Michael's uniforms, or where you can purchase the uniforms, or if there is another location with the same print, you can do that. We do know that currently Michael's is limited on supplies. We did hear that, the logos, I think some of the jumpers, so keep that in mind also. And then we also have some gently used uniforms here as well that have been washed and dry cleaned. So if you need a certain size, or you just need a uniform in general, just call the front office and let them know. And then also, on the first day of school, we usually see students, even our little first graders and kindergartners, dragging in big bags of copy paper, tissue, hand sanitizer, all of those things. So this year, Wilders has provided the basic school supplies needed for the classroom. Students are not allowed to share items, so they'll have their individual supply box with the items that they need, such as pens, pencils, highlighters, erasers, glue, those types of things. But if you have something special or an individual item, maybe they have a special pen that'll just get them through the day. If they want to put that in their backpack, they can do so. But we want to avoid bringing in too many outside items into the building. Our Wilders Meal Program. Throughout last year, the Seamless Meal Program, the Universal Meal Program, provided families in the community with children 18 years and younger meals for breakfast and lunch throughout the week. So we'll continue to distribute grab-and-go meals on Fridays only. Before we did Mondays and Thursdays, but we'll do Fridays only in the morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And this is for our independent students and for children 18 years and younger. In-person students will also receive the grab-and-go breakfast and lunch daily at no cost. So when they when they come in the morning after they've been screened, they'll come in the building, grab their breakfast, go to their classroom, get their COVID tests. And then when they come down for lunch, it'll be the same process. They'll go through the lunchroom, grab their lunch, and have a seat in the lunch areas. Our lunch staff, who we contract out, they are aware of our COVID guidelines, and they will continue to wear masks, wash their hands, use gloves, and we are supervising the process as well. So in our classrooms, we have plexiglass shields on the desk, but we also have the plexiglass shields in the lunchroom for added protection. This year, we've also purchased lunch benches to go outside so that our students aren't crammed together in the lunchroom. They have the opportunity to eat inside or outside. So that is something new for this year as well. Student materials and technology. So Wilders has a one-to-one laptop device for each student. You do have the option of using your own device as long as it is a computer, because some of the online platforms just don't work the same when you're using an iPad or a phone. So if you have a laptop device that you want to use on your own, you can do that. And that is for our independent study students. I wouldn't advise bringing your personal device back and forth for in-person learning, because things happen, and the parents will be responsible for any damage to their own device. So we are providing devices in the classroom. We're providing devices for our our independent study students as well. And the reason being is many of our lessons will remain or will mainly require technology. So we're carrying over some of the practices that we did during remote, so students can still submit their assignments on platforms such as Seesaw, Google Classroom, Spelling City, and some of the other platforms that we've used before. And then also, just to extend that, in the next couple of weeks, we will have a virtual back to school night where you'll have a chance to kind of hear some of the things that are going on in the classroom. And then you can kind of speak with the teachers one-on-one just to get some firsthand information of the expectation for the school year. Last year, we had the teacher orientation during the first week of school. Remote learning was all new to all of us. And we got through it, luckily. And so moving forward, we'll, have some of those same practices as well. So for our independent study students, on Friday, this coming Friday, between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., you'll be able to pick up your device. And if you need a hotspot, we have some hotspots available as well. So that's this Friday. You'll be able to pick those up so that you can be ready for school on Monday. The in-person student materials and devices will be distributed during the school day, during the first few weeks of school. So you'll have an opportunity to speak with the classroom teacher. You can always email myself or anyone else if you have questions about this. But we are working through getting our technology out to our students and our books and materials as well. All right, so this is a list of important dates. And this was also given out on the last day of school, but for our new parents, these are some of the important dates for the school year, and we'll get this information out to you again. And then I'll also share this slide deck as well, so you can have that information firsthand. So these are the important dates for the school year. Additionally, we have the normal holidays, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Martin Luther King Day, and so on. So we still have our traditional annual holidays. And then as far as communication, again, we'll do Class Dojo. We'll continue to do that. I will continue to do a monthly newsletter just to make sure everyone is up to date and informed of what's going on at school. Also, the Aries Parent Portal is where you can find information about your students' grades, if you need to update any of your parent information or contact information, and then also web pages. So we're updating, in the process of updating our website, but there are still some pertinent information that you can get And then we'll, be sure to have that completed in the next few weeks. So that is all I have for now. We have
Yes.
quite a bit of questions in the Q&A, but before we start the Q&A, I wanted to, let me stop sharing my screen for a second. I wanted to provide Ms. Ramona with an opportunity to impart any words that she may have as well.
Good evening again, new parents and returning parents. Mrs. Robinson, I think that you did an excellent job covering all of the important material that we have to do. So I really just say to the parents, welcome. We look forward to a wonderful in-person school year. It's been a long time coming. We're all excited that we are able to open in person, and we are very confident that the procedures that we have in place meet and go well above the safety standards that are required. So we look forward to a safe, happy, and very educational new year. So I think that we can dive into the questions at this point.
All right, Mrs. Van Buren.
Yes. So there are a couple of parents that would like to go to the COVID testing. As far as the protocol, as far as the type of testing that we're doing right now, and also if they what will happen if there is a breakout. So those are the two things that we have right now.
Great questions. So the testing is a nose swab. And, several of the younger students' parents have emailed, wanting to know, is it too invasive? It's not very invasive at all. Our kindergarten students that were here wouldn't have anyone to cry. So it's a simple nose swab. It's a rapid test, so we get the results right away. And so if there is an outbreak, and this is posted on our website as well. So we have a COVID compliance team, and we have COVID safety protocols. So parents will be notified, the child will be quarantined. They will be quarantined initially. For one, we have an isolation room that they'll go to that has supplies, plexiglass, and we'll hold them there until the parent is able to pick them up. And then we will send them to get a PCR test, which is the test that takes a little bit longer to get the results. Sometimes with the rapid test, you might get a false positive. So we don't want to alarm our school community as of yet, but as soon as that PCR test is confirmed that it is a positive, we will notify the people that have come into contact with that person. If there is a school-wide outbreak, then obviously we will have to take guidelines from the public health department, and then we'll follow their protocols as well.
Okay. There was also a concern about the LA Unified School District with the cases, and can we actually explain how we are different from LA Unified with our covering and our plexiglass, etc.?
So LA Unified is a conglomerate district with thousands of students. We have a little less than 600 students in this building. We have 60 students in our kindergarten building. So we don't have as much interaction or as many staff members as they do. And we are taking precautions with masks and plexiglass in the classrooms, social distancing. We've hired additional campus supervisors to ensure the safety of our students. And then also we're providing the PPE gear in the classroom. So, or when they come through the gate, if someone doesn't have a mask, we have masks to give them. And then, the Lysol wipes, gloves, and those kinds of things, and disinfectants in the classroom.
So the next is the independent study. We have 3 questions. The first is, are the students required to wear the polo? The second question is there an option to become independent study if you start in person? And then the other is, what is the check-in time for independent study?
Okay, so the first question about the polo. If you have a polo, yes, absolutely wear your polo for your independent study, 30 minutes to an hour. Like I said, it's, you know, when you dress up, you have a change in mindset. You feel good, you want to learn. It's a difference between being in your pajamas and your polo. So, you know, it is definitely a school day and we want them to show up and be present. As far as independent study, if you sign up for in-person and there are some health concerns that you would like to discuss with the team, we take that on an individual basis and we have to evaluate to see if the independent study program is beneficial or appropriate for that student. So we would have to take that on a case-by-case basis, but it's definitely a conversation that we can have. And then there was another question.
The check-in, the check-in time for the independent study.
Yes, so each grade level will email the parents. We supplied the class list. So the way the independent study program works, each teacher has a class list of 22 to 24 students. If there is a grade level that has only 4 independent study students, then those students will be assigned to one teacher. So as we're working through our numbers, things are changing daily. Just to be transparent, we want to provide the best support for our students. So we're going to allow the teachers to check in with the students between 8:30 and 9. Again, depending on the grade level, depending on the number of students in that grade level, depending on the teacher. So that information will be confirmed this Friday as school starts on Monday. But we wanted to be able to have this meeting to provide more information regarding that. And again, our office is calling our parents as well. Most of the ones who had already signed up for remote instruction as we're changing into independent study, just to make sure that this is the best option.
Here we go. So the next is about lunch. If the students are allowed to bring their lunch, is it strictly provided by the school? And also if we have any, who do we contact as far as if there are any type of dietary restrictions for the school, for the food, the cafeteria and the meal program?
Mm-hmm. So yes, definitely. If a student wants to bring their lunch, that's totally fine. We will not allow them to share with other students. So please, speak that at home as well, that their lunch is specifically for them. I would also advise to bring a water bottle, as we are not using our water fountains. So if they have, a small water bottle that'll fit, next to them or on their desk, next to their desk, they can have that throughout the day. And then what was the other question?
The dietary restrictions, did you just?
Yes. So any dietary restrictions, allergies, that should be put into the parent portal. So in the parent portal, there's a section in there for you to provide that information. If you don't see that, you can always call the front office. We can always put it in your Aries account and notify the lunch company or meal company.
All right. The next is the safety concern, and as far as new parents coming to the campus, escorting their students. Also with the current situation as far as arriving earlier, and if you could speak on that.
Mm-hmm. And this is especially for our new students who are, going to kindergarten. because of the pandemic, things have really changed. And so we're not allowing parents to get out of the car or enter the building or see the classroom. But what we can do is take pictures. We can do a video, maybe a virtual tour. We can do something like that so that you can see the space that they're in every day. But the following public health department guidelines, we don't want to have parents congregate at the gates or, anywhere near the school as we're trying to transition kids into the building. So you're going to have to say your goodbyes in the car.
Okay, so we're going to move to, let's see, what's the next one here? Supplies. There is a little, they want to know what exactly the students should come to school, specifically the kindergartners, and if they are able to, supplies and uniforms, what they wear for Monday through Thursday, Friday, etc.
Yes, so on the sheet that was emailed and mailed home, there is a list of uniforms that the students wear Monday through Thursday. And so on Monday through Thursday, depending on the grade level, they'll wear the jumper, the skirt, for guys, for our gentlemen boys, with the pants. They can wear the shorts up until it's cold. I believe at the end of October, it starts to kind of get a little chilly. Sweaters. On Fridays, they have the track suits. On Fridays, you can also wear the polo that you wore during the pandemic with your khakis or your shorts, and then your black tennis shoes.
And is there any penalty at this time for not wearing the full uniform?
Well, like I said, Michael's uniform their supply is limited right now. So there are some exceptions. And like I said, we have uniforms here as well to provide.
All right, so now we're going to class sizes as well as teacher notification. When will they find out which teacher they have been assigned to?
Yes, so we completed that this week during our August in-service. So the teachers will be reaching out to you before Friday. So you'll know who your classroom teacher is. You'll probably get a Class Dojo notification. So you might want to download your Class Dojo app on your phone. And they'll also send emails as well. Then you had another question too?
The number of students per class.
Yes. So that will vary depending on the number of independent students. So like I said, for example, if Ms. Hawthorne has 24 students on her roster and she has, 5 of them who are in independent study, then the other 19 students will be in the classroom. And we have also removed furniture, bookshelves, so that we can maximize the space in the classroom. The other question was about what to bring to school. Kindergartners really don't need anything. They, come in their uniform. The teachers will provide what they need. We are, if we send home papers, they are for you to keep at home. When they submit their assignments, they'll submit them virtually or digitally, depending on the platform the teacher chooses to use. For our upper grade levels, if they have a backpack, they'll have a folder that they might need to put some papers in. But other than that, you don't need a lot of supplies the first week of school. Or throughout the semester, just depends on the supplies that we've provided, or like I said, the basic ones for the students to use.
And then the other is we still have people that are asking questions about transitioning from in-person to independent study. So they're asking, is it too late to sign up? And
so if you decide that you want in-person or independent study, whatever your choice is after this presentation, you can email me personally at rrobinson@wpacs.org, or you can complete the survey that I'll post it on Class Dojo, but I don't think some of our new parents have access to that. So you can call the front office or you can email me, whatever your decision is after this evening. And then, like I said, our office will be calling parents as well to make sure that you have, you're in the right school that you want to be in person or independent.
And during that time, you'll also have the description of what independent study is, because there is a question regarding the time as far as a teacher is giving instruction for 30 minutes. So there's one person that is really not clear as far as the independent study program. So
the independent study is really just that, independent. So your 30-minute to an hour check-in is basically time for the teacher or the designated teacher to take attendance, and then they'll review the Google Classroom assignments for the day, and they're able to ask, any questions that they might have at that time. The remainder of the day, the students will be working independently, completing their asynchronous assignments on Google Classroom. If they have questions, they can email the teacher, but there won't be another opportunity for them to be to interact with the teacher for the remainder of the day.
And then we also had a virtual tour will be appreciated for the new parents and the new families for the community.
Yes, I can definitely do that.
Okay.
And then there's another question that I see about walking up or dropping off. If you don't have a car, that's totally understandable. But if you have a car, you will need to drive up. We have two gates, one on Plymouth and one on Market. The students usually enter through the gate at Market. If you are walking, we'll have a campus supervisor escort them from the gate on Plymouth to the Market gate. So we're not going to have an opportunity for parents to congregate on the sidewalk to kind of see their child, go in and those kinds of things. So, unfortunately, that's kind of the highlight of the first day of school. And I get it. I have kids myself. So, we're going to have to kind of subside that right now until we're able to kind of just get into the building and make sure everyone is safe.
And then finally, there is the one about nobility and not having proper, like a Met ID card. So they need to know more information as to how they can sign up with nobility for the testing on Monday.
Some parents have had some difficulties with the app, and Sophia, who is our contact person with Nobility, has offered her number and email to parents who have questions. So if you have some troubles, you can email the office or myself, and we can make sure we get that information for you.
So I think we went through most of these. There is one about air purification, but I think that's something that needs to be.
Yes, we did replace in the spring when we went back to in-person learning. We did install the HVAC ventilation systems, and that's at both schools. So we, to just improve the air quality in the building. So we did do that as well, and that's continuing to be monitored every few months. And then someone had a question about uniform donations. Just give us a call if you have something to donate, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
And the last question is about free lunch. Signing up for lunch, the lunch application.
The lunch application, yes. The lunch application was part of the parent portal link that was emailed. And so in your parent portal, you have the lunch application. to complete, along with some other forms that you're filling out and emailing to the enrollment 2021 email. And if you're not able to do that, again, set up an appointment. We can, definitely provide you with the paperwork for you to complete that, but we just, really want to avoid that. But yes, we are collecting lunch applications all year. I'm sorry, not all year, but for the school year, because it's beneficial for quite a few things, and not just free lunch, because the meals are free this year. But the lunch application also helps us identify our school population. It helps with school funding. Last year, we had quite a big turnout, and we were able to increase some of our technology. We got more funding for, some of our learning programs. And so, the lunch application is not really just for lunch, but it helps us identify who we have in our school population and how we can better support them.
Okay, one last question. Is the logo required to be printed on the shirt, on the school logo?
If you are able to get the school logo on your sweater or your shirt, yes.
Okay. All right, and also recess and what that looks like?
So the students will still come down for recess, and they'll, during like I said, the spring and the summer, we had a limited number of students here, so they were able to, come down, have the snack, go back to class. Initially, we will follow the same protocols. We're not going to pull out a whole lot of equipment, basketballs, jump ropes, because then, students are sharing, and we want to avoid that. So they will have a break time that they can come down, take a breather, kind of get some air. But as far as playing and touching and interacting, that is something that we definitely want to avoid initially. And as I said, as we get back in the building and we continue to have these negative tests, which, thank goodness we haven't had any positives in the time that we've been in the building. But we just need to be able to assess the safety of getting back in the building after 2 years. And so we are going to put some restrictions on the things that they can do at recess initially. And then, of course, in the classroom, the teachers will have some, mental decompression activities for them to do as well.
Mrs. Robinson, I'd like to make a comment. I see some questions that I just want to touch upon before we close out the question and answer period. There are several questions on related to safety. And so I want to say to the parents that we have a safety plan. There is unrest in all parts of our city. So just as we have a plan if there's an earthquake, a plan if there's a fire, there was a question in the Q&A about a breakout. That falls under the same guidelines for an emergency, that we have a plan for earthquakes, for fires, whether we need to evacuate the building, whether we need to stay in the building. So our school and our security has plans for all emergencies that could possibly happen. So we need for parents to rest assured that the safety of their children is our first priority. And we do have plans in effect for all types of emergencies. So that is one thing. We also have increased our security and on both campuses. Our kinder will have additional staff over there, because even though we are back to in-person, we are far from being back to the normal in-person. We are in person with restrictions. Students will still need to not play the way that they normally would play. They will all be required to wear masks. All of this increases the safety of our students so that we can remain COVID-free. So we cannot impress upon parents that if you do have questions and you are feeling any uneasiness, we are more than willing to talk and have a communication with you so that we can answer your questions in more detail. There was a question in the chat about if we were concerned about the rise in COVID cases with LAUSD. And as Mrs. Robinson spoke earlier, LAUSD is a very large school district. Fortunately, we are small enough to be able to have some control over what our procedures are, how we interact with our students, and we have the staff to ensure that students are properly distanced, that students have their masks on at all times, which is one of the best protections if you are around individuals for wearing your mask. So every precaution that we can take, we have thought of. Some parents in the chat were mentioning that they wanted to come in the building. Unfortunately, in order to keep our school COVID-free, we had to make a decision that there would be no visitors in the building, parents or other visitors, and that is to keep the number of individuals that are in the building low so that we can remain safe. So I just wanted to impress that upon the parents that we are doing 200% of what we need to do in order to keep our staff, students, and families safe. If you have additional questions after this parent orientation, we are very willing to speak with you and answer any additional questions that you may have. And that's it, Mrs. Robinson, for me.
And then, you know, like as I stated before, we are transitioning back into in-person learning. And my word for our staff is pivot, you know, be able to be flexible, be able to, you know, understanding that, you know, this is new for us as well. You know, we've had a routine, you know, for quite some time, and we were disrupted by COVID, and that extended longer than we anticipated. But as we're getting back into the building, we are creating new routines. And so, you know, we're not perfect, but we do have a plan. And if the plan doesn't work, we'll have to change it. So we just want you to understand that we are working to ensure that we have a great school year and that everyone remains safe. So as oh, go ahead.
There was one additional question about Teach to Reach and what that protocol was going to be. So again, a lot different than normal. We will be, we're fortunate enough that Teach to Reach is offering the after-school program. The pickup of that program will change. We will have security at the back gate, and as a parent comes to the gate, that security person will contact Miss Gibson, and then the child will be brought out to the gate for the parent. So we do have a system in place for that.
And also to add to that, that's part of our increased security as well, that someone is present through the end of Teach to Reach as well. And Ms. Gibson, if you're still on, if you wanted to add a few remarks, you can. I'm not sure if you're still on or not.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I am. Teach to Reach, I'm just so elated to be able to open back up to give a great service to our Wilder students. It's been, what, a year and a half, and we, my team, we have truly missed them. Spaces will be limited. I did send over a flyer to Ms. Robinson. She will add it on to Dojo, as well as you can also go on to our website, and everything will be digital for you to fill out the application, which is the first step, and moving forward for payments. Payments will be done through Zelle. And if you don't have Zelle, you can always, at the back gate, I will have a walkie-talkie, and someone will call me out, or one of my team members will come out to get tuition. But when Ms. Robinson says over the flyer, on there is a new phone number, a new email where you can contact me directly, and I will go in more further detail on how our program will run, similar to the daily program, just keeping the kids safe. There will not be no outside interaction. They will be outside, maybe taking a walk, but our main focus is to work on homework, getting the kids completed, and get them safe back to you guys. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, so we are going to close out our evening. I want to thank our wonderful staff for attending this evening after a long day. I appreciate it. And to our new parents, welcome to Wilders. We are glad to have you. To our returning parents, we look forward to working with our wonderful children again. And we're excited for a new school year. And we look forward to all the great things that are happening this year. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Again, I'm available at rrobinson@wpacs.org. And our school phone number is 310-671-5578. Thank you. Good night.